An amazing thing happened today on the right-wing TV channel, Talk TV. We got an admission, a Brexit admission, a huge admission about what Brexit means for farming and food, and confirms exactly what we have been saying for years. Caelan Robertson of Byline TV was on Talk TV this morning with Christo, and Christo made a huge admission about the fact that pro-Brexit people are in agreement that farming and food, British food, has been shafted by Brexit. Just have a listen to this.
The food industry, I think you can lay a lot of that down to Brexit. I think even those people who are the most pro-Brexit will agree that that farming has been shafted and fishing has been shafted, and our general food supplies are under threat now these new checks are coming in. I think a lot of people will agree with that, even if you are very pro-Brexit. But the food industry is not subject to the net zero restrictions that things like steel are.
Christo seems to be unaware of the fact that British farming has got hugely ambitious net zero targets to get to net zero 10 years before everybody else. And I think this really begs the question about what's going on with net zero, because the Conservatives were green and now they want to sort of not be green anymore, and we've been through this before with them dropping the green crap. But ultimately they're trying to blame Labour for the net zero stuff that they have ensured. And I think most of us, I certainly know most of the farming community, certainly want to do things that Daisy's about to come and hit me in the back. Come on. That are farmers want to do things which are good for the environment. We care for the environment and we want to do everything that we can. But ultimately, the Conservatives seem to want to be making out that all of the drive to net zero is come from Labour, and that's just not the case. They're also sort of veering into climate change denial. Now, those of us who've been in the floods this year know full well that we're experiencing weather which is unprecedented. And it has to come down to the fact that climate is changing and has changed. So of course we want to do everything that we can, but we can't just abandon food production in Britain to then import it all from the other side of the world, and they're using methods that are illegal here. And that just isn't climate friendly. It's just offshoring our emissions, and that takes us back to Michael Gove and that Country File interview.
Guarantee that imports will have to be at the same standard that we grow.
Yes, absolutely. There's no point in having high environmental and high animal welfare standards if you then allow them to be undercut from outside. And ultimately, if you have high standards here and then you allow food in from elsewhere, you're not really contributing to animal welfare or higher environmental standards. You're simply offshoring those low standards, and that's wrong.
So that's a red line with your trade colleagues, with Liam Fox and others who are negotiating or will be negotiating trade deals around the world. You're going to say absolutely no dilution. The imports must be to our standards.
Absolutely.
And it certainly looks to me as though we need to really reevaluate what is going on and really get to have some sensible decisions about food production and food security, because the world is so much more fragile than it was when we voted for Brexit. We have got a war in Ukraine, there's a war in the Middle East, tensions are ramping up between America and Iran, and there's every possibility that China could decide to invade Taiwan. And then we have put ourselves in such a weak position, being reliant on food coming from the other side of the world. And Daisy, she wants attention. Let me know what you think. I think this is a big breakthrough, because a lot of the time we're fighting with, it is Brexit, no it's not, but now we have actually got confirmation. The most pro-Brexit people concede that Brexit has shafted farming. And you might say, I don't care about those farmers, they all voted for Brexit. Well, we didn't all vote for Brexit, but actually the problem is that farming, you rely on farming for your food. And that's what I always try and get across to you. It isn't so much about farmers. They can diversify. It's a business. Other things can happen. But it's your food, and your food is your public health and our national security. Those of us who are think that Brexit is really good for our strong independence. It was never the case that getting rid of food security made us sovereign. It's made us weak. Here we are outside with Daisy. This is our head cow, Daisy. She's very friendly, and she is the one who's always in. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment below and also subscribe if you haven't already.